lessness. And Donald Trump accepting our challenge to become president and become leader of the political revolution, which predated him many, many years, did a great job. But the swamp, as it became called, the mainstream media, as they became called, the legacy people, the people who wanted it the way it was during the Obama years, who wanted the Green Deal, they wanted to give away our money, they wanted to put America last, not first. All the things that Donald Trump undid, they wanted to reimpose it upon us. And so they have. And, they will and come January. And I believe, my personal private belief, by cheating and by voter suppression and voter fraud and the use of machinery such as the counting machines to steal the election away, steal my vote and steal your vote. So, if the Republicans do not make a stand with the president, I think that you and I will. I'm not saying you should. I think we will abandon the GOP because I think the GOP, the 12 congresspersons who came into office on the Trump train, the many, many senators and others who are reelected on the Trump train, the many other officials who were put into office across the nation based upon the Trump train, they abandoned us. And so maybe, why did they abandon us? Because they've kidded themselves. Now that the fight is hot, now that they're on the front lines, now that they're in the trenches, they realize the danger of this political movement, a revolutionary movement that would change and is trying to change American politics forever. And so abandoning us, they say, well, the people never elected Donald Trump because he was just Donald Trump, but they voted for us because we are the real GOP. We are the real revolutionaries. And this is another action of political people to co-opt, to steal away the movement, to take over the leadership of the movement, and to suppress the real heart and soul of the movement, and to finesse it into something that they want it to be, not that the people want it to be. But the people, those 56,000 people who were with President Trump in Pennsylvania during one of the last rallies in Pennsylvania, those people don't want their movement to be co-opted and moved into a different direction by politicians. They have made known with their vote and with their voice and with their physical selves what they want. They want Donald Trump, and they want everything he stands for because that is the same thing that they stand for. And so if these politicians who stood on the stage with him and were called out by him by name and praised by him in the many, many rallies do not stand up for him, then we will abandon them. Maybe we'll primary them with other candidates. I believe what's happening right now is the beginning of the birth of a third political party. And it will be at the expense of the Republicans. Because I believe 94 million, but let's just take the low number, 74 million. We, the 74 million people who voted for Donald J. Trump to be president, didn't vote for the GOP. We're not GOP. Oh, there's a few of us who claim to be Republicans. But this was not an election of the GOP. This was an election of Donald Trump. It was the election of the political revolution. It was the election of Trumpism, if you want to call it that. And we perhaps are being defeated. Maybe we will be defeated in office. But the movement, as before, will not be stopped. We will not be gagged. We will not have a face mask put on our voices. We will not have ourselves locked into our own homes as a personal gilded cage prison called your house. Locking you into your house is putting you under house arrest, my friends. Forbidding you to go to your church is forbidding you to practice the freedom of your religion. Forbidding you to travel is a breach of the Constitution in terms of my understanding, that we have a freedom of movement and assembly, freedom to get together, freedom to voice our concerns, and no amount of disease control should be allowed to take away our first 10 amendments, which are our personal, individual rights as citizens and as voters in the United States of America. And no amount of emergency decrees and orders and lockdowns and Gestapo tactics by any governor or mayor or anybody else should be allowed to make us prisoners in our own country. That shouldn't be allowed. So I think this is the beginning of a new movement, not a new movement, the continuation of the movement, and that movement is logically is going to issue in the creation of a third political party. And that political party will be at the expense of the GOP, because the 73 million people or 74 million people who voted for Donald Trump, they know the Democrats. They never voted for the Democrats, so you can't say you were betrayed by the Democrats. But since you voted for the Republicans, who claim to be in favor of Donald Trump and the Trump movement, and they betrayed us and let us down and failed us in our hour of need, then we will have a political party of our own, and it will be at their expense. And that's what's going to happen. I really believe it's going to happen. Now, what do I think you should do about it? Myself, it depends on who founds the party. It depends on what the platform of the party is, and it depends on who is controlling it. If Donald Trump is controlling it, if Donald Trump's people are in charge, if it's not filled with previously political types like former congressmen and former senators and former government officials. We don't want any of that. If we have a new party, the third party that moves out and is made up of former government officials, former congressmen, former state representatives, former mayors, and former governors, we don't want that. Reject that party. But if we have like Charlie Kirk's and the Candace Owens and the many people who became prominent in our movement, the Don Bonginos and the like, if these are the leaders of the new party, then let's make that party. And let's make it stick in every state, in every municipality, in every county, in every Congress, legislature, and in courts, and in or education positions. Let's pay attention to putting up our candidates for what we stand for in the local elections, starting with the boards of education elections and the mayoral elections in our own little towns. And in any place where we can elect one of our people, let's put them in. It may take 25 years to get back our country, but we can do it. It can be done, my friends. And I hope and pray that if it does happen that way, that President Trump, in his retirement, will help us and direct us and show us a way to make America great again. Thank you for listening. This was the Frederick Henry Show. This is a show about all things Trump. If President Trump is no longer the president in a couple of weeks, this is December the 26th. So what are we talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks? If in a month's time he's no longer the president of the United States, I'm going to try to continue this all things Trump. If it isn't particularly personal about President Trump, and it hasn't been, then it will be about the ideas of the political revolution, the new political party that I believe is going to come about from this whole thing, and the continuation of the patriotism and the encouragement and the involvement, enthusiasm of our political revolution. Thank you very much for listening. I'm Frederick Henry, and Happy New Year, friends. Happy New Year. May God bless us in the new year. Thank you for listening.